Now let's talk about fabrics. As I talked about cotton-based fabrics and satiny finished fabrics. Now, it doesn't have to be silk because a lot of ties aren't always made out of silk. They're made out of a satin-based fabric which has polyester in it. That has no bearing on a tie. You have to remember several things. A man or woman, if that wears a tie, is only going to wear it that day, that occasion. Then they're going to go to another one and wear it that day, that occasion with that outfit. So the chances are slim and none that you're going to wear a tie out. What always happens to a tie is it gets soiled. You spill something on it. Sometimes if you have oily skin, then what happens is the oil, perspiration gets on the tie, especially around the neck, especially where it comes up under the neck or the back of the neck. That's what happens to ties, that discolors them. See, what happens in that case, trust me when I tell you, you just get rid of that tie and go get another one. Because most people have multiple ties. I mean, they get ties for gifts, holidays, you name it, they get a tie. So most people that wear ties, they might have 2 or 3 dozen ties. And most of the time, the tie, the print in it, the color goes with an outfit that they wear. So don't get hung up on the durability of the tie. The durability of the tie evolves around how often it's worn. And how often it's worn depends on whether it gets stained. You could buy a brand new tie and get a stain on it. The stain is not going to come out. It doesn't come out of synthetic fabrics, and it really doesn't come out of silk ties or cotton-based ties. Depending on what's spilled or what gets on it determines what's going to happen to the tie. So I never get hung up on a tie. Tie gets soiled, then what I do is I just throw it away. Now, on cotton-based fabrics, you don't have to worry, once again, about pre-washing it. It's only going to shrink if you wash it. Well, you don't wash a tie. There's too many components in a tie to try and wash it. Then you never press down hard on a tie, and I'll show you that as we go along in making it. So the tie should have a roundness on the corners, whether it's cotton or whether it's a satin-based tie. Those are real important things. But one thing you can rest assured, if the tie gets soiled in any way and you can't clean it off, that's the end of the tie. Sometimes it's a favorite tie, you make a holiday tie for somebody, they're only going to wear it on a holiday, and chances are greater that they're going to get something on that tie on holiday. Whereas when they go to church or they go to a business meeting or they just like to dress up with a tie, chances are slim that they're going to get something on this tie. So let's not look at a tie. Even though you can buy a tie, you can go in the store and buy a tie and spend hundreds of dollars on a tie. I don't. I might wear fine suits, but I'm not going to invest a lot of money in a tie because the chances of something happening, not even be your fault, is greater than you would imagine, especially if you're a tie wearer. And for business people that wear them all the time, they know. They could be out having lunch with a fabulous client or a guy they're trying to make a client, and they're eating somewhere, and they might get, listen, you ever see men throw the tie over their shoulder or tuck it in because they're eating something and that tie will go right in what they're eating? I've seen it happen. Trust me, it happened to me too. I'm not vulnerable where it hasn't happened. So these are the kind of the two bases that you'll find ties. And usually your cotton ties are usually occasional ties. Very few people wear cotton tie except for special occasion. They have a fabric that's called madras, and that's a cotton-based tie. Now, here's what happens a lot of times in a cotton-based tie opposed to a satin-finished tie. When you put a knot in a satin-based tie and you unfold it, most of the time the wrinkles are going to come right out. Good silk tie, the wrinkles are going to come right out. Put you a knot in a cotton tie, and when you take it off, you got crease marks where that knot was. That's why I say these little special occasion ties, they're great. Now, this is a good thing to make for someone for that occasion, because they're only going to wear it, what? On that occasion. Now, years ago, when I was a young lad, many, many years ago, we wore a lot of knit ties. Knit ties are coming back, but you have to remember one thing about knit ties. The tie manufacturer. So don't go get you some knit, try and make you a tie. You really don't want to go through that. It's too cost effective, time-wise for you. The knit tie is automatically knitted in the shape of the tie. It's not some fabric you can just go out and buy you some. So if you say, oh, I want to make a knit tie, leave that one alone. Trust a brother. Leave that one alone. Just stay with your basic satin-based ties or your cotton ties. And like I say, usually your cotton ties are special occasion. That is what we've done in this session. Now, in the next 3 or 4 days, being that it's already today, let's say next week, I expect, I don't want to hear no excuses about I didn't get it done, and I want to see the next part. This gives you ample time to either select your fabric, find you a tie to create your pattern, make your pattern, and at that phase, I'm going to show you how I cut it out. Because when I show you how I cut it out and the position that I'm in, I expect you to be the same position, because I'm going to show you mine marked out with all the indicators on my pattern. I'm going to show you at that point where I make my connections, putting the pieces together. And then we're going to do session 3, the little finishes that we put on the tie. Now I expect you guys wanted this, I'm giving it to you, and don't have me come get you. Remember, I'm the brother from Harlem.
Hola.